Chris Van Vliet in Cleveland, and he is the WWE Champion, Daniel Bryan. And Daniel, you don't have the title with you.
Yeah, it takes a long time actually for them to get the plates on there because now they have to have like a Daniel Bryan plate for the title and all that kind of stuff. We need it ready for Raw tonight. So,
do you know what those plates are going to look like for your specific title?
I have a feeling that they're going to be something like yes, or maybe I have like a little logo, but I fear actually that they're just going to put like a goat on there or something like that. So
the goat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's now become an endearing term for you to be referred to as goat faced.
Yeah, well, it's actually interesting because we were just in Australia and we went to a zoo and they had me go face to face with a goat like that, and for the first time I realized that it's not a negative to be a goat face. It's actually very handsome very handsome creature. It's
a goat.
Yeah, a goat. It's very, I don't know. It's impressive.
I was actually there last night at Night of Champions in Detroit. Now, if I look at my watch here, you've been the champion for about 11 and a half hours almost. I don't even know what time zone you're on right there.
Yeah, this is Pacific time.
Okay. But you've been the champion for 11 and a half hours. Do you feel like the champion?
You know what? Until I actually get the title and get it in my bag for a night, I don't think I'll feel like a champion. So tonight, after the show, hopefully I will feel like a champion.
So you left the show last night in Detroit, and when you got to the back, you had to hand the belt off?
I had to hand the belt off.
Oh,
yes.
Come on.
Yeah, I had to hand it off. So that's part of the gig. So
tonight will feel like the real, championship win, I guess. Does that mean you won't be able to sleep tonight?
I don't know. Well, I had a hard time sleeping last night, but the coolest thing is going to be going out with the title. That's the part that you want, because I won the title at SummerSlam, but then immediately got taken away from me. So today, I actually get to come out with the title and really feel like a champion.
Well, with that said, you are technically a two-time WWE champion.
Technically, but those two title reigns have lasted, you said 11 hours?
For now.
11 hours and 7 minutes. So that's the two of them combined.
I mean, when you went out there at SummerSlam, obviously, you knew you were going to win and you knew how the night was going to end. But did that title win still feel real for you to even have the belt for those 7 seconds? Or 7 minutes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it did feel very real, and it did feel like an accomplishment. And part of it is also main eventing a pay-per-view as big as SummerSlam.
Yeah.
SummerSlam is our biggest event of the summer, and to be given an opportunity to go out there and main event with somebody like John Cena, it's the last match of the show, and to go out there and, to me, just go out there and have a great match and become the WWE Champion, it felt like a real accomplishment, only to be snatched away 7 seconds later.
7 minutes. 7 minutes. But I mean, you're one of those guys who wants to continually get better and better every week. And for some reason, I feel like you are one of the only guys on the roster whose matches keep getting better. And what is it about you, or what is it about your mindset that makes you want to get better?
I think it's the idea of not being satisfied with what you've done before. And you have to take satisfaction in the moment and enjoy the moment. But after the moment is over, then it's time to go look at it and say, wait a second, I didn't like this, I didn't like that, I did this wrong. And you pick yourself apart, and you have to have that part of you. A lot of people are very ego-driven in any entertainment business, and it's putting that aside and saying, hey, these are things that I'm not doing well, or these are things that I can do better, this is what I need to improve on, that sort of thing.
Standing here right now after that match you had last night, does anything on you hurt?
Yes. Yeah, a more appropriate question would be, is there anything on me that doesn't hurt? But yeah, it's just, it's wrestling. It's we tell people not to try this at home because what we do is dangerous and it hurts. And so so yeah, my body's a little beat up today. We wrestled for probably 20 minutes last night, and we had 2 shows before that. So, it's we don't get an off season, so our bodies get pretty beat up.
Well, when you talk about these injuries and stuff like that, one of the biggest names in the company right now, John Cena, is out. And this has certainly given you the opportunity to be in the main event. But for you on the roster, do you feel like Cena being out is either a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I think right now it's a great thing because it gives other guys an opportunity to step up and fill that spot that Cena's been in for years. When Cena's on the roster, it's X amount of time, every show is devoted to John Cena. Well, now that's being given to other guys who have the opportunity to shine. And that's better for when John Cena comes back, because now we have John Cena, we have me, we have other guys who are stepping up and becoming stars. And that's what happened in the Attitude Era with Steve Austin and The Rock, is that a lot of guys left. And that created a lot of spots for guys to come in and be like, hey, we're the new stars. And that's what's going to happen now.
Well, why are there so many guys that get a title run and then go back to mid-card for a while? And, certainly The Miz comes to mind after the long title run that he had. Why doesn't that happen to John Cena?
Do you know why? Is because fans don't let it happen, right? You couldn't put John Cena in an undercard match because he'd get the loudest reaction on the show, and that's the problem. If you can do it, you can put him out there, but everybody reacts to him, and then that's going to make your main event look bad. So if somebody in the fourth match is getting the loudest reaction on the show, and then the main event goes out there, and it's like, it's kind of loud, but not as loud as that, you're going to want that guy in your last match. So.
Well, I mean, that certainly sounds like a familiar situation, when a guy in the fourth match is getting the loudest reaction.
Yeah, and so you'd like to think that that'll stay strong and keep steady and that sort of thing, but you have to work at it, because everybody's working for the loudest reaction. You've got guys like CM Punk last night gets a tremendous reaction, and you got guys like The Shield who are going out there and putting on killer matches every night. So you have to go out there, and if you want to be a main event guy, you have to go out there and deliver every single night.
Well, for you, the reaction is absolutely massive right now. And as Triple H said, you're red hot right now. Was there one specific moment where you went, wow, this thing has really clicked together and this thing's working for me?
No, not really. It was actually, the whole thing is just so mind-blowing, because I was always a wrestler's wrestler who didn't do much of the entertainment stuff or anything like that. And somehow this yes chant just took off, and who knows why people like it. I have a theory that people like doing hand motions and saying things at the same time. So if you're a wrestler out there and want to make a mark for yourself, come up with something that's easy to say and some sort of hand motion that you can do with it.
Yeah.
And guaranteed success if you can back it up in the ring.
I feel like we could just, you could invent anything with that.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the whole phenomenon of the Ryback to me, is the whole thing of going, feed me more. It's just so much fun. I would catch myself doing it while he would go out there, and I'd be in the back going, yeah, feed me more. And it's stupid. What's it about? Is it eating? Is he doing a gimmick where it's an eating gimmick? He can't stop eating?
That is his gimmick, yeah.
So for me, I go out there and I say yes. And people it's just fun, right? It's fun, it's interactive, and and it's fun to support the wrestlers that you like by doing that kind of stuff.
Was it the post-WrestleMania crowd that really let this take off, I think, 2 years ago?
Yeah, but you know what? It's interesting, because the post-WrestleMania crowd this year did the same thing with Fandango, but for some reason it didn't stick. And because the Fandango thing is too complicated. But
it's the hand action, it's the words.
But it's fun, but it's too complicated. You need it simplified. But it's right at the post-WrestleMania reaction in WrestleMania 28 is what really catapulted all this, and is the reason why I'm at where I'm at right now. And the fans have sustained it, and it's been really fun, because I've gotten to do a lot of really cool stuff. Right after that, I should have probably gone down to the mid card like a lot of guys have, but the fans would have kept me in the upper card. And then once I was done feuding with guys for the WWE title, they moved me into a tag team with Kane and that sort of thing, and the fans really embraced that, because I think it was fun. And then now I'm at where I'm at, and I have nobody to thank but the fans and people giving me opportunities.
And was it Cena in the ring that said, now you've got a T-shirt? Was it him that said it?
I don't know. I don't remember. I know I said it in the untelevised thing right after WrestleMania 28. I wasn't even on Raw the next day, except in a little backstage thing, but they put me in the match that's untelevised after the show. And I, even though they hadn't made it official, I just said it. I said, well, thanks to you guys, I think they're going to make me a shirt. So, so.
I mean, I'm a big fan of your wrestling style, and I've been watching you since Ring of Honor days, where, you were certainly tearing it up there. Has your style, in your opinion, changed that much, or had to change that much since coming to WWE?
Yeah, but it has to change everywhere you go. Whether you're wrestling in Ring of Honor, or whether you're wrestling in Japan, or whether you're wrestling in Europe. I was just talking about a little bit ago about when I wrestled in England in 2006. People were expecting like a Ring of Honor style stuff. They thought, oh, that's what this guy does. But when I'd go and wrestle in front of all these kids, they want me to sing the national anthem and get my crotch caught in the ropes. So it's like it's two total. Everywhere you go, you have to adapt to the style that's there. When you go to Japan, it's different than Ring of Honor. That's different from Europe. That's different from Mexico. And WWE is different from all of it. So you have to be able to excel in every different style.
Well, if you had to describe WWE's in-ring style versus the other ones, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as an entertainment-based style. You have to keep people's attention, who people have very short attention spans these days, for television. So that means that those people can click the channel whenever they want. So if you have like a segment might be 7 minutes, it might be 9 minutes, you have to keep their attention for 9 minutes or 7 minutes total without them wanting to change the channel. And that's the key to the style.
Well, speaking of television, you're now a reality television star. Yeah.
Oh.
That's how you feel about it?
Oh, it's so painful. It's so painful.
I mean, do you feel like in a certain way that you kind of feel like you had to do this?
Well, no, I didn't have to do this. I wanted to do this for Brie, for my girlfriend, and because it's good for her. And but two, it's a good thing. The show is doing really well. It's getting well over 1 million viewers every week, way higher than the expectations for it. But never in my life did I ever think that I would be on a reality show. I don't even own cable. People like reality shows. They were like, reality shows, those are for other people. Like, I don't want to do that. And now here I am. I'm a bit player in the whole thing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the star of the show. I'm not anything like that. But I'm a bit player in the background. And yeah, it's been interesting.
I feel like you guys as sports entertainers have very little bit of free time as it is. Mm-hmm. So doing a reality show like Total Divas must cut down that free time to, I don't know, 0?
Yeah, so my free time without Total Divas is about this much. My free time with Total Divas is about this much. So
I think I can kind of see. Yeah, you can kind of see some room in there.
Yeah, so it's it really cuts it down, and especially like when you fly home on a Wednesday, you've been on the road for 5 days, and they're like, yeah, we're going to be filming you guys as you're doing your laundry. And I'm like, I just want to sleep. All I want to do is sleep. So
what about the scenes like, 2 weeks ago, you guys were in Vegas and the camera's there as you're waking up?
Okay, yeah. So I was actually just talking about this because it was brutal, right? Because here I am. I flew there on a Wednesday, so I had just finished 5 days on the road. I'm going to this thing just to support Brie and to be there for, whatever they need me for or whatever. They go to this bachelorette party, right? And I was asleep by 10 p.m. And I was fine with Brie going to the bachelorette party or whatever. She had a key to get back in so she could come in quietly without waking me up. I was asleep by 10 p.m. At 2 a.m., I hear this knock on the door. I was like, oh, it must be Brie. I'm in my boxer shorts. I go, you open the door. There's this, you see this light that's right here? It's shining right in my eyes. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? And then Brie's hammered, just drunk, and like, hey, I had so much fun. And I'm like, oh no. So I just crawl right back into bed, and lo and behold, because they went to Chippendales and she went to the gift shop, she got these handcuffs, she got body paint, she's like drunk and like, she's starting to paint me or whatever, like, just leave me alone. She handcuffs me, and that's when I said, get these handcuffs off me or I'll scream. And that's the one part they used for the show, I think. So yeah.
You do stuff that's like, an hour or too long, and they use like a minute of it.
Yeah, and they can cut it however they want.
Sure.
Yeah, I saw one part with John Cena and Nicole where they're talking about Eva Marie, and Nicole says something about her, and then they cut to John saying something positive about her, and then they cut to Nicole giving him a look
Yeah,
I don't like this.
That's reality television for you.
Yeah, so they can do what they want. They can make you look how they want.
Well, if the success keeps up, you might be on this for several seasons.
Oh my gosh, and you know what? I hope so, because it's great for the girls. It's hard while you're filming it, but it's really good for Nicole and Brie, and they're getting a lot of awesome stuff out of that, and a lot of awesome feedback and that sort of thing. So hopefully it keeps up.
You've had a really interesting career with the WWE in terms of being on, off, back on. A lot of guys don't get that second shot even. When you were let go the first time, did you ever think that you'd be able to work your way back onto that roster?
Yeah, but I was so young. Like, I first signed with WWE in 2000.
Yeah.
So then I was fired in 2001 before I was 20 years old. So, or before I was 21. And then it wasn't hired again until 2009. So when I got fired the first time, I wasn't worried about getting back, really. I was worried about, okay, I need to get better, because they had just bought WCW. They had all these guys my size.
Yeah.
So for me to be able to compete at the WWE level, I needed to be way better than everybody else at my size. It's, if you're 6'5" and 300 pounds, you can be just a good, solid wrestler and do really well in the WWE. When you're 5'8" and 190 pounds, you got to be awesome. And so that's what I went out to try to achieve, is to try to be awesome. And I'm not
Like The Miz?
I'm
sorry.
Yeah. And I'm not where
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm striving for that every day.
So you're the champion and you're still not there?
Well, I'm the champion, and I'm there as far as being the champion, but as far as how good I am in the ring, I still want to get better. So,
when you look at that roster right now, who are some guys that you think haven't been given that shot yet and certainly will work their way up, perhaps like you were 5 years ago?
I love watching Antonio Cesaro wrestle. I think he's just incredible. Tyson Kidd doesn't get a lot of opportunities, and he's amazing as well. But it's going to take people who can wrestle great and then have the personality and stuff to get over to really break through to that next level. But we have a lot of guys who can do it. The Shield guys right now are given a lot of awesome opportunities as a trio. But I think if they ever split up, they're going to be awesome individually, because they're all such unique, charismatic performers. So.
When you did get fired from WWE, was there anything in your mind that said, all right, well, maybe I'll go do TNA?
No.
No?
No, because this is weird about the wrestling business, and I don't know, TNA probably doesn't want me to say this, but I would make more money wrestling on the independents than I would wrestling for TNA, and that's just the long and short of it. And it's a freer schedule. You're not under anybody's contract. You can go do what you want. I love wrestling in Japan. I love wrestling in Mexico and Europe and stuff. So if I didn't get rehired by WWE, I'd probably still be an independent wrestler.
I was talking about this with my friend the other day, and there's a lot of WWE guys that have gone to TNA and had great success there. I can't think of, and maybe you can help me out here, maybe you guys can help me out, I can't think of a single TNA guy who has had great success there and then has gone to the WWE and done well.
Yeah, it's hard, because sometimes you get a stigma of that, because if you wrestle on TV for a company that's not, you can't match WWE's production. I'm sorry, it would take, the WWE is a multi-million-dollar company, maybe even $1 billion company. I'm not sure where they stand financially or whatever, but nobody can compete with that. It's like trying to compete with Walmart. You know what I mean? So you have TNA, which is they put millions of dollars into their thing, but they can't get the queue here. You know what I mean? They can't rent that out. And if they did, they certainly couldn't fill it up, because that takes a lot of advertising and years of name brand stuff and doing stuff like this. And so it's really an incredible machine that keeps all of this stuff going. And when you go on TV and you don't look first rate, people don't buy you as first rate when you come up there. That's the benefit of me spending all those years on the independents, is that it was never really on TV. So if you had seen me at the Armory in front of 25 people, you might not think I'm a star now. You'd see me peddling my T-shirts, like, hey, buy a shirt for $25. You got change for 50? No, just give me the 50. I'll give you an 8x10. There you go.
But those people that did watch you in the Armory know you as Bryan Danielson.
Yes.
How hard was it for you to come to WWE and have them change your name?
It was hard, and it's especially hard getting used to people calling me Daniel, because it's like, hey, Daniel, and Cody Rhodes likes to call me Dirty Dan, and so it's all these little weird,
I've heard Daniel Danielson.
Yeah, and Teddy Long calls me Soul Man Danny B, all these little weird different names that like spring up that you were never used to. You know, when I got here, I forget, I was 28, 29 years old or something, you know, and like you get used to just being called Brian everywhere you go.
Sure.
And now it's all these different things. And maybe the weirdest one is DB, because DB can also stand for something else. Like, hey, DB, what's up? And I'm like, I'm not sure if I like that.
But I mean, CM Punk said he wouldn't sign with WWE if they changed his name. Did you have any, idea that you could do something like that, or did it not matter to you that much?
No, it didn't. It honestly didn't matter to me that much. I mean, I had a very loyal, hardcore fan following, but once you get to, for example, if I had a Twitter, which I didn't when I was an independent wrestler, I would have had maybe 10,000 followers or something like that. Like now, I barely ever tweet, and I have 1 million followers on Twitter.
Right.
And it's one of those things where it's like, it's such an exponential growth thing that like those 10,000 people, they were pissed that I was Daniel Bryan. That's a horrible name. But most people had never known me or didn't know me as Bryan Danielson. So to them, it's just another new guy with a normal name.
Are you still having the beard off?
Do you know what? Josh Reddick still thinks that we're having the beard off, but he shaved his beard.
Well, then you win.
Yeah,
then you
would
win.
think that, but he says he can regrow it fast enough to match me. But here's the problem. He might be right, because part of my beard has stopped growing. The front part here is only, like, look how short the front part of my beard is. Look at the neck hair. The neck hair is what makes the beard.
Oh, man, that's down to your chest.
So what happens is when I'm combing it out, this part, some of this will fall out, and I'll be like, wow, that's a minuscule piece of hair. Like, my beard, is it really that short? And then one of these back ones will fall out, and I'm like, whoa, that's massive. And like, so I feel like if his beard grows everywhere at the same length, he could still beat me. But I don't know. We've got till, I think, the end of the baseball season. So
That's soon.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Did you just stop shaving one day and everyone backstage went, yeah, go with it?
Well, what happens is people don't notice at first, because at first it's just a normal beard.
Well, week to week, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and it slowly grows, and then at one point people are like, what's up with your beard? I'm like, I don't know, like, I'm just gonna do this, and they're like, oh, okay. But this is what happened. I grew out my beard, and everybody was focused on the beard, and what they didn't realize is I was growing out my hair, because your hair gets that really awkward stage where it's like, oh no, if you were clean shaven, it would look horrible, right? If they were to shave my beard now, my hair does not look amazing, but I could easily go in and coif it and style it and make it, manicure it to be something way better than it is now. So
You had that a couple weeks ago on Raw.
Oh, yeah. I actually had a ponytail for the first time in my life, which was interesting. So yeah.
That made you feel like a real man, I'm sure.
Yeah, real men have ponytails and beards. So.
Do you have to do any sort of conditioning or any sort of grooming to this beard?
Oh, my gosh. Okay. So
here we go.
This is what you don't realize when you start doing all this stuff, is that showering takes so much longer to shampoo and condition both your hair and your beard. And then, for example, today I have TV stuff to do, but the hair I have really thick hair, so it doesn't just stay like it is now. It starts going like this. Like that. And so I put coconut oil in it, because Brie, she wants me to put this other stuff in it, like hairspray and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, do you know how many chemicals are in this stuff? I don't want to put that on my head. My brain's in here. And so I just put coconut oil in it, and she says it looks greasy, but I think it looks wonderful. Magnificent even.
Well, that's a great way to end this. He is the WWE Champion, and Daniel Bryan is full of hair tips. Who would have known it?
Yeah, and I look magnificent.
Oh, and he's a reality television star as well.
Yeah, reality TV, that's my thing.
Daniel Bryan, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.